Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, National Security Minister defends the national budget against opposition criticism. It's not for Dominicans. Government allocates $1 million for relocation of the courts, and Guyana swears in a new president after a bitterly contested election. The details coming up.
Avec flow, animate on top up, sign up, Kiteo, every video join flow. It only gets better with flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Are you still washing your hands regularly, wearing your mask in public, and practicing social distancing? 0 cases does not mean COVID-free. Stay home if you're not well to keep others from getting sick. Continue to avoid crowds in public spaces. Always keep your guard up. We're still fighting this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
First up in the news, the Minister for National Security, Rayburn Blackmore, has defended the 2020-2021 budget against opposition criticism. Blackmore brushed aside comments by the opposition leader that the budget is not for Dominicans.
No other country in the world in the past 4 years has taken the economic and social beating Dominica has taken, Mr. Speaker, in the past 4 years. I can say that boldly. We had Erica. Everybody said it was the worst. The worst weather phenomenon to hit us. A whole community wiped out. Then we had Maria, Mr. Speaker. The worst hurricane to hit any country in the world. And out of 25,000 households, only 78 was standing untouched. And the best and the most renowned experts in the world said Dominica, the minimum, would take 20 years. We surprised them and did it in 2 years, Mr. Speaker. 2 years it was done. And then we moved from 25,000 households to now 27,000 households because of the Dominica Labour Party. Can you imagine that? And by the end of this year, of this August, 901 apartments and houses hurricane-proof in one program we've constructed. If we just, in a very conservative manner, say to every family, 5, and that's very conservative. When you multiply 901 by 5, you get how much? 5,505. These are persons who are not going to be reliant on shelters for this hurricane season, Mr. Speaker. That is development, and it's not for Dominican.
Making his case, Blackmore points to the impact of COVID-19 and the loss of revenue to government, a whopping $46 million drop for the period January to April 2020 compared with the same period in the previous year.
Every month, this government, under the leadership of Roosevelt Scurry, has to get an average of $47 million to meet commitment and debt on salaries, and they have been paid on time, Mr. Speaker. Any other government would have used that period to cut back on salaries, raise taxes, send people home, or at the minimum, embark on a comprehensive attrition program. Hereby, new appointments will not be filled, a new position will not be filled. What we're going to do on the Roosevelt Security and Labor, we're going to appoint hundreds of new people in the public service, Mr. Speaker.
Blackmore also pointed to tax relief measures included in this budget.
Then we are proposing in this budget a tax pardon on penalty and interest, because the state is being owed, based on my last research, $259 million in taxes. And at a trying period in our development, we are saying that we're giving you a pardon on interest and penalty. This is responsible government, Mr. Speaker, and that's a people's budget, Mr. Speaker. So the people, the business people and persons who are being given the tax pardon, they're from Holland.
In other news, no satisfactory outcome, the phrase being used to describe Emancipation Celebrations 2020. Emancipation Celebrations 2020 ran from Sunday 26 July to Saturday 1st August under the theme Giving Thanks, Building Hope and Celebrating Possibilities. This year's celebrations were held with a difference as the Division of Culture and the wider public observed the health protocols in place due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence says despite the new format for hosting events, he is pleased that the series of activities achieved their goals.
Emancipation this year was with a difference. And it can be therefore be described as a major success. Most of the activities were online, but overall the festival was able to make a statement, help bring greater awareness and consciousness about our culture and heritage, and help build up the spirits of our people and give our artists and cultural groups another opportunity to showcase their talents and skills. So we thank God that the celebration took place successfully and received the attention and participation that it did.
Mr. Lawrence also commended the public's participation in the events, both virtually and in person.
The Thanksgiving Mass was very well attended at the Grand Bay Catholic Church and ran smoothly, and so did the interview series featuring some of Dominica's cultural icons, the fashion features, which highlighted some of the fashion designs of our local designers, the poems from our various poets in Dominica. The panel discussion was very well received. The art showcase got a lot of positive feedback, and the Emancipation Dress Day did stimulate a lot of interest and participation. Then there was the minister's address, in which she highlighted having a positive outlook on Dominica's ongoing development. And our closing emancipation activity was the Ballet and Drumming Festival, which was carried live on radio and online.
Meantime, Dominicans are advised to remain resilient in order to build a more advanced nation. Here's Andrea Louis with more.
The advice from Minister for Culture, Rosalind Paul, on the observance of Emancipation Day over the weekend. The Culture Minister says amidst the growing challenges, Dominicans need to remain resilient in order to move the country forward.
The theme for emancipation this year calls us to strive towards maintaining a spirit of hope and optimism, and maintaining a spirit of resilience in the face of the many challenges which surround us. In order to be a stronger country, we must be an optimistic people, a people with a vision and a purpose. In order to make greater advancements in our development, we must also remain conscious of the possibilities and opportunities which exist and which help all of us to work towards building a more advanced Dominica.
The country's cultural stalwarts were commended for their role in developing Dominica's arts and culture and paving the way for sustainable income to be earned from the creative and cultural industries.
Our arts and culture for years have helped to give meaning to our lives, have helped to shape us and identify us as a people, and have brought invaluable benefits to the welfare of our people by providing many of us with opportunities to earn income and sustain livelihoods through the arts and crafts, music, and other artistic skills.
The minister believes the global pandemic creates the opportune time to use Dominica's Creole heritage to boost the spirit of the people.
And somehow, it seems to me that especially now, as we are struggling with the negative effects of the coronavirus pandemic, that even more now, We need to build and rebuild the spirits of our people through our music, our dance, and all other artistic expressions which help to inspire and motivate our population and give us a greater sense of belonging and love for our country.
Maintaining the Dominica-Antigua link continues to remain a priority even as efforts are underway to restructure LIAT. Prime Minister Skerrit believes it's essential to keep open the access between Dominica and Antigua and Barbuda, whether it is for trade or other purposes.
We need to ensure that there is a connection between Dominica and Antigua and Barbuda. That's a major connection for us. With so many of our citizens resident in Antigua and Barbuda, family and friends in Antigua and Barbuda. And Antigua and Barbuda is a major market for fresh produce. And our hucksters have to fly in there, in and out of Antigua, to pile their trade. And so for a number of reasons, we have to ensure that we support this initiative. And as I said, we support all the initiatives because our primary interest is to ensure that there are flights into Dominica. And so I look forward to having a further discussion with the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda on this.
Mr. Skerrit and the Antiguan Prime Minister have been talking on the reorganization of LIAT and were scheduled to have further discussions on the matter this week. Meantime, Dominica is making other arrangements to ensure air access is maintained.
We are working with airlines. We have provided licenses to a number of airlines to fly into Dominica, Air Antilles, Inter-Caribbean, One Caribbean. We've also provided licenses, I believe, to SVG Air, who wants to fly out of Canefield.
And CMC and a number of regional news outlets have been reporting the death of broadcaster Jerry George. CMC reports the talk show host died Tuesday while hosting his early morning internet show Early in the Morning with Jerry S. George. The CMC article goes on to say George, a former public relations manager with the telecommunications company Digicel, died of an apparent heart attack soon after introducing his first guest on the show. Reports say there's been an outpouring of grief as news of Jerry George's unexpected death made the rounds on social media. Apparently, George died while hosting the August 4 edition, which he entitled Thoughtful Tuesdays. George was also a founding member of the Association of Caribbean Media Workers. You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after this.
Giving away $30,000 in cash, 2 bags of money plus $1,000 every Friday.
With Flow is better every day, and now we're making parties great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 or more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you want to win cash galore.
With Flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Are you still washing your hands regularly, wearing your mask in public, and practicing social distancing? 0 cases does not mean COVID-free. Stay home if you're not well to keep others from getting sick. Continue to avoid crowds in public spaces. Always keep your guard up. We're still fighting this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
A greater focus on the development of agriculture among highlights the Dominica Freedom Party was hoping for in the 2020-2021 national budget. Here again is Andrea Louis with more.
Leader of the DFP, Kent Vital, believes greater financial allocation should have been made towards the sector to see the more robust transformation of agriculture in the country. Vital is of the view that youth involvement in the industry is critical as it will help the sustainable development of the country.
The Dominica Freedom Party would have certainly liked to see greater allocations for the total rehabilitation of feeder roads and allocations towards other more robust proposals to transform the agricultural sector. A critical element in those proposals to transform the agricultural sector is marketing. Currently, many of our farmers can't sell their produce, but yet the government does not have any creative or workable plans in this area, in the area of marketing, in the area of transportation to market, in the area of efforts to support agro-processors to become internationally competitive. How about any serious strategy to encourage the involvement of young people in agribusiness?
The DFP leader believes better management of public funds could put the country further ahead on its development path.
If our country wants to see progress, we must address matters related to corruption so that there is better use of the people's money. I'm of the view that if it was not for the misappropriation of the people's money, then all feeder roads could have been in great order, in much better shape. We could have had an international airport by now, and the quality of the life of our people would have been much better. We certainly would have had fiscal reserves that could have helped to overcome the current COVID-19 crisis that we are in. To make progress, our country also needs to seek out and utilize its best skills, whether they're at home or abroad. Our people also need to be united towards the task ahead.
The 2020-2021 national budget was presented under the theme, The Road to Dynamic Dominica, Fostering Economic Resilience. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
$1 million included in the budget estimates for the relocation of the registry, inclusive of the courts, to the Public Service Training Center building. The Masters Court, Civil Court and Criminal Court will all be housed at the Training Center building.
Mr. Speaker, the application of the rule of law is critical for the advancement of any democratic state. And most of our criminal matters are disposed of by the magistrate court. Just to give you an insight, Mr. Speaker, last year, 2,595 cases were filed before the magistrate court, Mr. Speaker. And 2,509 of those were disposed of, and that is commendable. For the same period, $813,000 were raised by way of revenue for the magistrate court. In this new financial year, you will see the appointment of 2 new magistrates. And of course, I want to commend the permanent secretary. We have provided our staff, our magistrate, with brand new laptops in the ministry. And I want to say that is because we believe we have to facilitate our magistrate to be more efficient and competent going forward, Mr. Speaker.
Blackmore has also highlighted ongoing reforms at the state prison.
I have the utmost admiration for the head and the staff members of the prisons. We had malaria, we had no significant outbreaks or breakouts, and then we have COVID. And the prison boss and his staff took up on their own to construct 10 new cells for the possibility of isolating new inmates. And I think that is commendable, and we have to put our hands together for them for that, at no cost to the state. I have given the prison head the mandate for the prison to be self-sufficient in most of the food. So they're doing their vegetables, they're doing the pork, and they're doing their bread. For matter of fact, I'm very happy to report that the prison will be providing the Dominican Infirmary with free bread for the inmates. And that's important, Mr. Speaker. We have seen a very exciting program meant at creating enterprise at the prisons. It can be done as a business in leather and woodcraft, where 28 inmates graduated. And I think, Mr. Speaker, that in itself, when a prisoner leaves the prison setting, he has to be a better person to contribute towards mainstream society. And it's important for us to place emphasis on reform and reform.
And a prolonged political standoff that crippled investment and heightened ethnic tensions in Guyana has come to an end. The opposition candidate Mohamed Irfan Ali was sworn in as Guyana's president on Sunday. That was shortly after the National Electoral Commission said he had beaten incumbent David Granger by just over 15,000 votes. The governing party said it planned to challenge his victory, alleging fraud. As president, Mr. Ali will manage billions of dollars in new oil revenues, which have transformed Guyana, a former British colony with fewer than 800,000 people, into the world's fastest growing economy this year, despite a slumping global oil market. Mr. Ali's assumption of office follows 5 months of political wrangling between Guyana's two major political parties over the outcome of the March 2 vote. And in one item of sports, Jimmy stole the celebration, dominating Maho in a domino competition on the weekend. Delvin Esprit reports Maho was supposed to have been the one celebrating, as it was their village feast.
The community of Jimmy was the one celebrating on Sunday as they walked away with the Maho Community Domino Championship among 8 teams. In the semi-finals, Jimmy destroyed Roadside by 503 points. Scores: Jimmy 2,515, Roadside 2,012. In the other semi-finals, Warner got the better of Skills by 165 points. Scores: Warner 2,510, Skills 2,345. In the grand finals, Warner was no match for Jimmy as they were dominated by Ian Laza and Randall Robinson and Captain Howard Ambrose and Wellington Darway to lose by 610 points in front of a huge crowd. Scores: Jimmy 2,534, Warner 1,924. In the third place match, Roadside got the better of Skills by 217 points. Scores: Roadside 2,513, Skills 2,296. The winners walked away with a small cash prize. Drinks and trophies complement the business places in the Maho area. We say thanks for the support. Delvin Esprit reporting.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Are you still washing your hands regularly, wearing your mask in public, and practicing social distancing? 0 cases does not mean COVID-free. Stay home if you're not well to keep others from getting sick. Continue to avoid crowds in public spaces. Always keep your guard up. We're still fighting this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
With Flow, when I bag our money, cash out. Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
Yo, check this. Flow is giving away $30,000 in cash.
Oh, yeah.
2 bags of money plus $1,000 every Friday.
With Flow is better every day, and now we're making parties great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 or more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you want to win cash galore.
With Flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. National Security Minister defends the national budget against opposition criticism. It's not for Dominicans. Government allocates $1 million for relocation of the courts. And Guyana swears in a new president after a bitterly contested election. You may access the news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.